This is the process shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a self-imposed time loop, and I've seen Meet Cute, a new romantic comedy with a few sci-fi elements, directed by Alexandre Lehmann. It follows Sheila and Gary, who meet at a bar and hit it off pretty well, having a good time on their first date. However, Sheila lets slip that this is actually their seventh date, as she's discovered a time machine that allows her to go back in time, which she's been doing to redo the date to try to make sure everything's perfect. Even though Gary is smitten by what he perceives as quirky behavior and wishes to see her again, Sheila still continues to loop this night over and over for months afterward, even though it comes at a cost to the happiness she thought that the night together would always provide, as well as her personal escape from an uncertain tomorrow. The concept is handled pretty well overall, though at the start it does drop you into the story without any other setup, delivering information as it goes along. In retrospect, it actually would be a bit interesting if it had kept going on like this for a while, bringing up the time travel aspect without making it explicit and leaving you guessing whether or not it is real. But it isn't long before it does in fact make it clear that this is a thing. After that, I feel like the movie tries to go through a few more loops to illustrate the changes being made with each new date, which I suppose does work on that basic level of showing what can happen, but not really progressing the story overall, at least until halfway through the whole movie. At that point, it hits upon more dramatic topics of anxiety and fear, lending more weight towards why Sheila would want to spend her life repeating the same night forever and ever. It does lead to a bit of tonal whiplash, not only because of the weight suddenly placed on all of these events, but also because of how suddenly the topics get introduced, as well as how flippantly they're treated when they first enter the scene. On the subject of tone, the comedic scenes aren't very funny, give or take a few chuckles. They seem to be driven more by the greater context of the dates and the actions of the characters, even when it all devolves into frustrated yelling instead of actual jokes. Thankfully, these scenes are held up well enough by the chemistry between the leads, Kaylee Cuoco and Pete Davidson, who play their parts with enough charm that sitting through their several first dates together is at the very least tolerable. The technical aspects of Meet Cute help this as well, though that's probably overselling it. There's some attention to lighting in a few scenes, mostly making the locations look pretty than anything more expressive. Cinematography as a whole makes the film's locations nice to look at, which I feel actually works against the slow decline in the dating experience as Sheila's disillusionment grows. I just feel like it could have been reflected in the actual visuals if these places became more normal and muted in tone. That's just me, though. I will say there are a few montages within the movie that work out pretty well as a means of progressing time and showing how one similar moment across several dates can differ, but these don't exactly offer any strong variation, which is something I'd still chalk up more to the film's writing, or perhaps a lack of writing and a reliance on improv. Overall, I'd say that the film's major ideas do in fact hold up well enough, and on paper I'm sure they would have come off as very interesting. The problem really lies mostly in the writing and how these ideas were executed, making it feel more like a rough draft of a script made into a whole movie or a framework for improvised scenes, rather than something that's truly complete. Meet Cute, Alexandre Lehmann, 2022. 2.5 stars. I suppose I'd still recommend seeing it if you didn't have anything better in front of you. I feel like this is a movie made for a date night where you're not paying attention to the screen. That's it for me. If you liked this review, leave a like. If you have something to add, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. For some reason, this movie has like 5 minutes of extra footage at the end during the credits where it just goes through clips from the movie we just saw. I have absolutely no idea why.